Tony D and Little Joan asleep on the couch, and this is a screenwriter's rant for Battle of Pandora. Um, Feels like a low rent version of like Aliens mixed with a couple other sci fi movies. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books. Links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys. Books 1 through 10 available at Amazon.com. Don't forget Kindle Unlimited. It's free. If you like special effects from 20, 30 years ago, you're going to love this. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So the premise is, I guess they go to this planet and they find, or a moon, and they find like a ship that's full of some life form that crashed here, and it sort of looks like the Terminator, made of liquid metal kind of thing. And then it starts a whole series of events where they're trying to get off the planet. People are getting infected, and the creature just gets bigger and bigger as the movie progresses, I think. Attacks them here in this effect. And then locks onto their ship. And then it's called the Battle of for Pandora, and I think Pandora is the name of the wormhole, not the planet. I confused it. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, is this another Avatar side project or whatever?" Anyhow, they leave the wormhole. They manage to get out of the wormhole with the alien on their ship. Nice going. And then it's about can they kill it, I guess? I mean, if it exists in space. It doesn't look like this movie is very scientifically based. Look, here's another effect. I'll just play this briefly. See, it like comes out of the planet. Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry. I mean, clearly to me, this looks like a low budget affair. I mean, the modern era of low budget in that. If you go back in time and showed this in the 90s, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. Now it's just like, nah, these effects they're not great. They look like the kind of effects you can make in a laptop. Maybe a slightly more advanced laptop where your friends like, oh, point your gun over there and go pew pew, and you shop in an alien and it dies. Yeah, there's no real. It doesn't seem to be any real character development here. It's all focused on the amazing discovery on a distant world, which it doesn't look like a distant world. I mean, they tried their best on this budget, I guess, but it looks like they're using a filter and props to kind of get it across. I'm just not buying it. Sorry. And then I guess this guy's infected. Yeah. Why did they make this movie would be my question. My guess would be they called it Battle of Pandora in order to hopefully get some attention because it's the same. They can use Pandora. Anybody can use the word Pandora. And they're trying to get some attention from the Avatar movie. I don't know. Is this... I assume this was American made. I don't think it was dubbed, but it kind of moves fast. Yeah, I mean, like, there's only so many cuts you can make of something like this that'll make it look good. Because it just, the thing that people want to see are the aliens, and the aliens just don't look good. It just looks like an effect. This guy looks like Dr. Evil, kind of. They're trying. I'll say the actors they're acting the hell out of this movie, but I don't think it's going to save it. This is like a B movie that ends up, back in the day, it would go right to video, we would say. These days, it's going right to video on demand, where people will search, I assume, for Pandora. Oh, what's the name of that movie with the blue aliens? I don't know. I know they were on the planet of Pandora. Search for that. And then you search in Pandora and you look at this and go, oh, is this it? And maybe you rent it. I think that's the strategy. I really do. There are studios, and I talked about this in Hollywoke another novel. And this was partially inspired by my friend who had worked in the studio system. And she said, you know, they do have these divisions where all they do all day is try to figure out, well, this movie's a hit. Let's make a movie that's kind of similar and we'll make money, but we won't spend any money on it. And that's what this feels like to me. So it's like when you go to the supermarket and you see other ketchups, right? And like most people, at least in America, might buy Heinz ketchup, like at least around here. And then you see this other ketchup. It looks like Heinz. Like it's very similar in terms of the bottle and the label, but it's a different brand. But it's like 20 cents cheaper, so you might buy it, right? And just based on that alone, you can build up kind of an audience. Like this is sort of like the other ketchup. Now that being all said, is it good? I don't know, man. I can't get past these effects. I really can't. I don't know, maybe I'm spoiled. I like the space effects. The ships look good. The ships look fine, in fact. I'm totally okay with the ships. Flying around, going in and out of the wormhole. All that looks great. It's the interaction between the humans and the effects that, man, just don't look good. And there's a lot of like, seemingly a lot of actors who are like standing there as an effect kills them in a couple of shots. Like, I'm being killed, Again, that it feels very much like you could have made this on a laptop and done just about as good if you had enough time and, you know, friends who would help you in the movie. The spacesuits, yeah, they don't look good either. Look, if you can't, I say this, low budget guys, and this is just my opinion or whatever. If you can't make something look good enough, don't do it at all. Right? Just say, we can't do that. We can't make it look good. And then come up with something else. You know, like in Doctor Who, in the old Doctor Who days, they would do these great stories. And the effects were terrible. But people overlooked them because the story was so great. Or it was just interesting character. Like Tom Baker was engaging. And he was fun to watch. And he was a fun, essentially alien, running around the universe, doing time travel and stuff. You could do something similar with a concept like, you know, Battle for Pandora. You just have to come up with ways around this. So in the case of the space suits, they don't look good. Don't put it in the movie. Say, all right, forget it. We're going to have a different, modern, futuristic device. They don't need it, right? Maybe it's a force field that you can't see, but like when they turn it on, you see it go, like something like that. But you establish like that's how you turn it on. Right? And then later somebody gets shot and his force field dies and he dies. And you could show it then. That limits the amount of special effects or costuming you need. Same thing with like, I don't know, the aliens. I mean, the aliens just, you can't do them all effects. I don't think. Unless your effects are so top tier, they work, you know? Like, if you could do what Marvel does, essentially, or one of those outfits, essentially shoot it on a green screen, have, you know, if the alien grabs you, have like hands that are all green that are going to grab an actor and drag him off camera, and then later you go back in and you paint over the alien's hands or whatever, yeah, then you do it. But if you can't do it, if you can only make it kind of good, you know, for a movie audience, I don't think it works. I think what you need to do for a movie like this is play to your strengths. The strengths in this movie, I think, were the spaceships, the wormhole. So, you know, you could still have a storyline where people get possessed. They did it 50 years ago. There was no effect. Or maybe it would be very subtle. It would be something as easy as changing the voice. giving them contacts, like they close their eyes and then they open them and they have different eyes. Oh my God, he's been possessed by the thing. Um, it's like the ambition of this movie doesn't meet the actual product. And I don't mean that as something mean. I mean that as to be constructive and as a warning to other filmmakers. You can certainly envision this, but can you pull it off on film? I'm guilty of that too. Believe me, I've come up with concepts and then we tried to shoot them and they're a mess. And sometimes I still play them anyway, and in the end, it doesn't do me any good because the quality wasn't there. It might have been fine in the writing or whatnot, but and if you're gonna have quality like this, you really have to have something that overcomes it. Now, one of the actresses in this is pretty good. She's given a good performance. Not enough. Not enough. You would need some kind of plot that would make sense. Why they're going to this planet. Something personal. Then you can dial back the amount of effects you need, right? That's why a lot of times in movies they did these shape-changing aliens, because it was just creepy. And it works. Look, if you can't do real effects like this, you gotta either limit it or not do it. So in the case of the shape-changing aliens that take over, you can totally make that work, because once you kill 3 or 4 people in the movie, then you make them the aliens, and then you just use the actors, and it's their bodies walking around doing stuff, doing evil things, and it's creepy. You have a scene where one actor looks and it's himself looking through the porthole at him, and totally silent. They don't even have to have dialogue. So I just don't think this works based on the trailer I'm seeing. Now maybe it's a great movie, I don't know. I look at these trailers and I analyze them, but you have to assume when you're analyzing a trailer, this is the actress who was pretty good, I thought. When you look at a trailer, you have to assume they're putting in the best stuff here. They're not trying to give it away, but they're putting in their best. They're putting their best foot forward in order to entice you to watch the movie. I just wouldn't watch this. I just wouldn't even waste my time. And the space battles are fine. I mean, make it about space battles. Do like a submarine movie in space. They used to do that all the time. Again, you got to play to your strengths, and there are a lot of guys out there. They want to do these kinds of movies. They just don't have the money, or the computer facilities. Let's say. I mean, the guys who do this. And look, there's a craft in this. This takes a long time to do. It's not as long as it used to, but it still takes a long time to do and make it look like anything. This looks good. Right there. That looks good. The alien running around. There's too many factors. There's the lighting. There's the movement. The movement being the biggest one. And yeah, making the alien a blob of what looks like mercury flowing around helps, but it also makes it look unnatural, so it's also another hurdle to overcome for the audience. So you need to add little details, like as the blobby thing flows onto the ship, it can't move too fast, it looks unrealistic, or if it does, it has to knock little things out of the way. So then we say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, this feels more real because the cigarette that one of the characters dropped gets knocked aside by the blob or whatever. Anyhow, that's just my rant. I wish the guys well, but I'm not sure. It just feels, kind of generic space movie. So the emphasis needs to be more for this, I think, on characters. If you had like a central focus, I could overlook some of this stuff, right? Like, so if you had a character, it's Biff Johnson's space pirate, right? Yeah, Biff, we can't go down to that planet. Don't worry about it. And he goes down on the planet anyway, and he's like a cool guy. Even if the effects aren't that great, people could get behind a cool character like Biff Johnson, Space Pirate, or something. Otherwise, give us something. You got to have something to hang your hat on. Anyhow, I'm done ranting. That's it for me, Tony D, and Little Joan asleep on the couch. We're going to be doing the live stream at 7, Sundays at 7. Hope you tune in. We'll be complaining more about movies, and I'll see you in the live stream.